Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Weekly Wellness, where we get real about hormone shifts, healing, and the things no one told us about in midlife. Today, we're talking about something I've heard over and over again, especially lately. My stomach is still a mess, even though I eat right. And maybe that's been your story too. If it has, let me know in the chat. So you've cut out all of the bad foods, the supposed bad foods, and yet you are still not feeling better. You're still struggling with uh, unpredictable gut issues. You're eating healthy, you're doing all the things that you've been told. So that's what we're going to unpack tonight. So let's talk about it. So the question I often get, and maybe you've asked this question too, can menopause actually mess with your stomach, with your gut? The short answer is yes. And the long answer is that everything in our body and mind is affected by menopause. And so let me explain. Hormones play a huge role in digestion, and that's a role that we're not often aware of. But yes, hormones actually affect how we digest food. And when estrogen and progesterone start to shift, your gut feels that. And these hormones affect things like your stomach acid production. So now food doesn't break down very well. It affects your bile flow from the gallbladder, which means that fats are harder to digest. And this becomes a double problem because if you can't eat and digest fats, fats are one of the things that we need so very much in more at midlife to help to calm those other symptoms that are happening to you. It also affects our gut motility. So things either slow way down and you get really constipated, or they speed way up and you have weird bouts of loose bowels, usually at the worst possible time. And even the gut lining itself begins to change. It can actually, the changes in hormones can actually make your gut lining change, making it more permeable and reactive. So if you're experiencing things like reflux, constipation, random urgency, or feeling full too fast, bloating, or just general discomfort, yeah, that absolutely could be your hormones. But it's not the whole story. There's there's also the role of stress. And I'll tell you, this is the part that most gut protocols, they just don't talk about it but here's what happens at midlife. As your ovarian hormone production slows down, your adrenal glands are asked to step in and pick up some of the slack. The problem is that your adrenals are already managing your stress, your inflammation, your sleep, your energy. I mean, they do all of this. So now we're handing the most overworked organ in your body another job. It's like telling your your already exhausted employee that she's now in charge of a whole new department without support, without training, without a break, and definitely without a raise. But what happens when your body is living in that kind of stress is that even if you're eating all the right foods, even if you eat the exact right diet for your body, your digestion can still shut down because blood flow actually leaves the gut. Stomach acid drops. Your enzyme production slows way down, and your nervous system starts treating lunch like a threat. I mean, imagine that for a moment. If your nervous system is out of whack, every time you sit down in front of a meal, there is a possibility, no matter how structured the meal is, no matter how right it is for your body, your nervous system can actually still treat it like a threat, and then try to get it out of your body more quickly, or just not digest it well. Some of the common, excuse me, my nose is itchy. Some of the most common gut issues that I see in midlife women: indigestion or reflux. Sorry, I'm just going to take a quick glance at the chat. I closed it accidentally. There we go. Okay. Indigestion or reflux. Feeling full after just a few bites. I don't know if anyone else suffers from that. Like, you can have just a couple of bites of like salad, and suddenly I'm like, bloated and full, and I want to eat more because my brain and my mouth are saying no, they're like, I need more, but my stomach is saying no, that's plenty. But bloating that's not tied to any specific food or meal can also be a common symptom. Constipation is another big one, or feeling like, or the opposite, feeling like you have to run to the bathroom every time you deal with just like even just a tiny amount of stress, which of course that's never good timing either, right? Or also that anxious, tight gut feeling that has nothing to do with what you eat, what you ate. If you struggle with any of those, please let me know in the chat. I'm just curious to hear which ones you most struggle with. And the really sort of, I don't know, frustrating thing about all of this is that food alone won't fix the challenge. Like, it won't fix the issue. You may have tried elimination diets, you may have tried gut healing protocols, expensive supplements, the low FODMAP diet. That's one that so often people are like, oh, you've got to try this diet because that's great and it's going to fix it's going to fix your gut issues. Also clean eating, like only organic fruits and vegetables and grass-fed meats. I mean, you can have tried any of those or all of them and still not feel better. And that's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because gut healing isn't just about what you eat. It's also about how your body is functioning behind the scenes. So when you're not regulating your nervous system, when your hormones are still shifting, and if your adrenals are also overloaded, then no diet can fix what your body is trying to survive. It's just the unfortunate fact. So what actually helps? Yeah, it's not that there's not that there isn't anything that you can do about it, because there are things that can be done. And you guys will hear me say over and over and over again, start simple. I always suggest focusing on some simple basic things, consistent protein-rich meals. This is going to help support your stomach acid and motility. Mineral intake, you want to make sure that you are especially paying attention to how much sodium, potassium, and magnesium that you're taking in, whether you look at it per meal or just throughout the day. This is not, I don't have permission to I haven't asked for permission to share with you guys, but there's an app out there called Chronometer. I will drop that in the description if I can. I'm hoping that it's okay for me to do that, because it's such an amazing app for tracking your food. Like there's so many food apps out there. You can input your food, your movement. You can even input your supplements. But the nice thing about it is that it's not going to just give you like your calories in and calories out and things like that. It will actually show you how much of certain minerals, of all the minerals that you're taking in. But you can tell it to let you know that you've reached a sodium, potassium, and magnesium goal. And that's really great to be able to look at that and see how close you're coming to hitting those goals, because those are three super important minerals when it comes to gut health. And so the next thing would be morning light and regular rhythms. And I talked about this last week. So if you'd like to dive deeper into that, I'll share the link to last week's talk on that in the description. But when it comes to morning light and regular rhythms, it helps your nervous system to know when it's safe to digest food. And that's so important. And finally, symptom tracking. Again, I talk about this a lot. It's important to write down what you eat and how you feel. Like you can use an app like Chronometer or any of the food apps, but it's so important to notice the patterns, look at the big picture. And most importantly, stop blaming your food for something that your body is trying to tell you. So if you feel like you've been doing everything right and you still don't feel like yourself, if your gut is unpredictable, and your energy is inconsistent, and you're starting to wonder if this is just how it's going to be, I want you to know this. Your body isn't failing you. It's responding to you. It's communicating with you, not to food, but to depletion, to stress, to hormone shifts, to years of carrying too much and getting too little back. And trying to fix that with another food list or supplement, that's not just exhausting, it's incomplete. And this is where I come in. I offer free one-on-one strategy sessions because sometimes what we really need is someone to listen, help connect the dots, and map out a path that fits your body and your life. The strategy session is not a sales pitch. It's a personalized, supportive conversation because healing gets a lot easier when you stop trying to do it alone. And if that sounds like what you've been looking for, you can use the link that I will drop in the chat for you to book your call. And I do have a few spots available for next week, so you want to grab one of those quickly. And my final thoughts, I want you guys, please hear me on this. You're not doing it wrong. You're just in a new phase. And your body has different needs now. Midlife is not about restriction and control. It's about rebuilding trust with your body, learning to support it, not silence it, learning to communicate, learning to translate the way that it's communicating with you now. And when you stop chasing perfection and start responding with care and curiosity, that's where the healing begins. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this week's episode of Weekly Wellness. I will see you next time. Thank you so much.